Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. Entitled mother arrested and charged with assault after hitting other skiers. There are very few groups you can define as entitled as a whole. Most of the time there are just enough members of these communities that are horrible, so they get labeled as entitled as a whole. For me, there is just one group that lives up in the stigma of being entirely horrible. Professional ski racers / people that are part of a ski club. And there is an even worse group that is associated with them. Mothers of underage racers. This is due to two factors. First, they are in a prime age bracket of being Karens and they think their little hill spawn is the next big thing. This is where our situation in caste is coming from. We are standing at the ski lift and there is a line in front of it. The line is CA. The line is 200 people long, which takes 5 to 10 minutes to get through, which is not long for pre-season. This story takes place one week, it's a normal weekend and we are skiing. Like I already stated, there is a good number of people in the ski area, but it's not too bad. Our story starts with the first big no-no that you just do not do. A group of the entitled and rude race kid, 12-year-old boy and some friends just go to the front of the line. Hey you, go to the back of the line like everyone else. The entitled kid ignores my brother. Hey, I'm talking to you. Stop skipping the line and go to the start of it. Other person in line joining in. He's right, go to the back of the line. And the entitled kid keeps ignoring everyone. Other person in line softly poking the kids on the shoulder. Hey kids, you cannot just go to the front. And the entitled kid turns around and flips that person. Go screw yourself. I'm a professional, so I'm allowed to go to the front. Other person in line? The hell you think you are? Addresses operator. The operator says, these kids are skipping the line. You four points at the kids. Get out of here and to the back of the line. No skipping allowed. You cannot tell me what to do. Okay, he stops the ski lift. Get out or you will not go anywhere. Then the whole line starts saying, get out of the line and go to the back. And the entitled kid leaves the line grumbling. We are back at the ski lift after going down the piste once. The entitled kid and his friends are also back and there is the entitled mother with them. Now they are performing the second no-go. You see, skis can be very expensive and you want to have them for at least 3 to 4 seasons so you can get your money's worth out of them. There is an unwritten rule that you do not step on other skis in a line. You see where this is leading. The entitled kid sees my brother in front of them and starts to step / jump on the end of his skis as revenge for sending him to the back of the line. Bro tells him, stop that. Then the entitled kid starts laughing. Stop that, you brat. And the entitled mother answers, how dare you call my child such names? Don't you have no manners? Didn't you teach your child manners? Make him stop jumping onto my skis. You offended my child last time when he was in this line by making him go to the back like an unskilled skier like yourself. This is what you get for that. He's nothing special. He has to follow the rules like every other person here. He is also able to wait the 10 minutes that the line takes. He does not have to wait because he's a professional. He will be the next big racer in a few years. So he needs to go to the front so he can... Do you also want me to bow to him now and call him your majesty or something? Just because you think he's something better? Make him stop or I will make him stop. The entitled mother shrieking, is that a threat? Are you threatening to harm my child? Nope, I won't hurt him. But I will do this. My pro lifts his ski when the entitled kid wants to step on his ski again and then steps down as hard as possible. hitting the entitled kid's front end of the ski very hard. We call this peak flopping because of the sound it makes. I think I have never seen someone have a meltdown like the entitled kid and the entitled mother had after that. Chernobyl was nothing compared to what happened next. The entitled kid went right into a crying fit, a massive toddler tantrum. The entitled mother screamed and shrieked like my brother slapped and spit in her child's face. After my brother told her that he hopes that they learned something from this, she took her hand stick and started to bash my brother with it. Luckily, he was wearing protectors, so he was not harmed. The other people in line pushed her away and a few surrounded her after she tried to flee. She kept screaming and cursing my brother out until the police were there to get her. And now to the fallout. First, and to no one's surprise, she was kicked out and blacklisted by the ski area. She was also arrested by the police. In their first statement, the entitled kid and the entitled mom tried to frame my brother as the aggressor and told the police a whole bunch of lies of how inappropriate my brother was towards the entitled kid. We were later told that words like pedophile and sexual assault were thrown around by them. Our best guess is that this was something they trained so that they can push this narrative when they need to. But this was shut down pretty fast after my brother was asked about what happened and a good dozen of witnesses confirmed his story. My brother decided to press charges against the entitled mother for the assault with a weapon. After everything was done and the entitled mother was taken away, we went back skiing for the rest of the day and had some good laughs about this crazy situation. And my brother now has a nickname Chief Flopper. Right now we are waiting for the first official appointment for the investigation. Next story. I was asked to look after a stranger's child today while I was working on a boat. I was on a client's boat to take measurement for a job they liked me to do. The place they docked is alongside a lovely sidewalk that is open to the public. I was on the front deck when I heard a family walk by. I was aware of them, but I did not look up until… "Excuse me." It spooked me, as they were so close, so I looked up. A mother and child were standing on the sidewalk in front of the boat. "Sorry, you snuck up on me. Can I help you?" Sometimes people stop to ask me directions to a bathroom or are curious about what I'm doing. The randomly striking up a conversation isn't uncommon, and I'm happy to help / make a bit of a conversation. "Hey, can you watch my kid for a minute?" No explanation, no greeting, nothing. I was stunned into silence for a second while my brain tried to process. The mother took this time to interject before I could reply. "It's okay, she can just hang out on your boat with you." She what? Her child looked to be kindergarten age, maybe even younger. Before she could start walking toward the pier, I finally gained enough brain power to speak. No, sorry. This isn't even my boat." "Oh, well, whose boat is it?" Like it's relevant. "This is my client's boat." "Can she come on?" "Ma'am, I'm working," I said, raising my voice a bit, holding up a bunch of measuring tools. "It's just for a minute," she urged. I was appalled. "Sorry, no can do." I was about to say more, but she interrupted before I could continue. "Well, can you get off the boat and watch her then?" I gave her another stunned look. "I'm working," I said a bit slower. And I'm sure my boss wouldn't appreciate me watching strange kids while I'm on the clock. Again, I was about to say more, but her child was whining and pulling violently on her mother's hand. "Fine," she snapped suddenly, dragging her child away up the steps. Not gonna lie, it was really odd and unnerving, and my heart was beating really fast. I'm legitimately shocked. Boats and docks are not a safe place for children, especially without a life jacket. A strange child, not knowing if they can swim or their water history, what about their behavior or if they will even follow safety instructions and directions. Why would you give your child to a complete stranger working in a place not safe / suitable for a kid? while they are working. I'm a stranger, for God's sake. I should ask the owner of the boat if they can reverse the boat into space next time so I don't have to face the general public while working anymore. P.S. I'm self-employed. However, it's 100% true that my boss wouldn't appreciate me watching strange kids while I'm on the clock. Next story. Starts wholesome, gets dicey, and ends wholesome. My bus was delayed by 5 hours at a long-distance terminal in nowhere rural Florida. I, short, husky white teenager, was dressed in a black button-up, red tie, and a black pants with my eyeliner and mascara from the Rocky Horror Show I had attended before traveling, probably looking a bit worse for wear. I was sitting for a decent while when I noticed that an older, probably late 60s or early 70s lady was trying to do something on a self-service kiosk and muttering to herself in Spanish. She seemed to be getting frustrated and was darting her eyes around for employees. But the place was packed with people due to the delays at around 3 a.m., so not many were around. Someone eventually did stop to try to help her when I heard, "No hablo English," causing the person to just look kinda puzzled and walk off. I was in my 3rd semester of Spanish at the time, so I slowly walked over and said, "Excuse me, do you need some help?" She asked if I spoke Spanish, to which I replied that I was still learning but would do my best. She clapped her chest with a literal Dios mío, and we pleasantly worked through what she needed done and went our separate ways. Someone had taken my seat, so I was just standing around for a minute or two when I got the tap on my shoulder. I turned around to see a large white woman with an inordinate amount of luggage and a child in tow. The kid is nose deep into a DS and isn't really paying attention, but she looks me up and down with what appeared to be disgust before demanding that I get her luggage to wherever it has to go. I had no idea where that is. I was honestly super exhausted, so I start to say, "I'm sorry, but I don't work here." Before I can finish, she burst in with, "Don't you mess with me. This place is going crazy and every other employee is busy. So even an office guy or supervisor or whatever you are should be out here working with customers. I saw you help that other lady, so you can damn well help me with my bags." I raised my hands and started to explain again that I did not know anything and did not work here, but she was not having it, and she started to raise her voice a bit. At this point, her child notices her volume, looks up at me with what seemed like a mixture of confusion and embarrassment, then tugs on her shirt and says, "Mom, I don't think you work." She turns quick and gives him a snit, not even a shush. Just like that loud click/hiss noise the dog whisperer guy used on TV. Then she started in on me being a lazy, unprofessional snowflake or whatever. Just then, the elderly lady comes up from the side of us, shaking her cane at the large woman and shouts in the best English she could muster, "You leave my nephew alone. He's a good boy." The big woman turned to see this old lady with straight up lightning in her eyes and a big bit of mahogany inches from her face, then just turned around and left with her kids. No apology, nothing. Once her and her kid are a fair distance away, I thank the older lady and she just motions for me to follow her. We go outside to a bench by the entrance and she offers me a cigarette as she lights up one. I say no thank you. She then pulls a thermos out of her purse and offers me some coffee. I once again say no thank you, but she pours it anyway and comments about how the coffee here is so terrible. Turns out she was visiting from Guatemala to see her son who works with a company that imports blends and roast Guatemalan. I once again say no thank you, but she pours it anyway and comments about how the coffee here is so terrible. Turns out she was visiting from Guatemala to see her son who works with a company that imports blends and roast Guatemalan coffee. We're both coffee snobs, so we just sit and chat about coffee, our families, and why on earth I'm dressed like I am until her bus is called to board. I of course offered to help her with her luggage, but she says she only has a one small bag and is fine with carrying it. Definitely an interesting capstone to a very interesting weekend. Next story. How my coworker got trapped in a train. I have an annoying coworker who started to hide my other colleague's stuff because he thinks it's hilarious. We told him to stop, but he continued, and our annoying boss did not want to intervene, and we should solve this issue ourselves. So since I don't want to be on his level and start a petty hiding war, I decided to ignore and socially exclude him because he is a very extroverted person, always thrives on small talk and gossip. Now we take the same train to work each morning. As always, he has his headphones in and is focusing on his smartphone. Normally, I would greet him, take the seat next to him, and he would start a conversation. But today I walked past him and chose a different section. The train stopped a few stations before our destination because of construction work that started today. Everyone had to get off and change to another train line or the bus to continue their travel, as that was announced several times in the train. Guess who did not hear those announcements because of his headphones? That's right, my annoying co-worker. After everybody got out of the train, the doors were shut for half an hour and he was trapped in there. Then the train drove back to the central station, resulting in him being more than an hour late to work. Our boss was furious, and all this could have been avoided if he wasn't such a childish jerk.
And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.